How to grow sprouts.
With the Kitchen Crop Seed Sprouter. This is the Kitchen Crop Seed Sprouter. This is the deluxe version, which is VKP1200.
Link in the description. So much easier.
And the reason why we're clarifying that is there are various different versions of the Kitchen Crop Seed Starter, and this is the particular model that we got. Now, as Brian was being nosy, he was actually showing you a few things. This is a multiple tray sprouter, which means that you can sprout multiple trays of sprouts.
It's like a bamboo steamer.
So the first time we used this, we filled it with alfalfa on all the trays. And being that there's just two of us, that was a lot of alfalfa sprouts to eat in a short amount of time. Because once your sprouts have sprouted, you want to consume them before they go bad.
Like, you have days, 2 days, 3 days. That's it.
Well, it's not 2 days.
It's quick.
But it's
quick.
pretty quick. So my recommendation based on that experience is to try multiple different types of sprouts in each tray. So like one tray will be alfalfa, another tray will be broccoli, another tray will be radish,
So
so
they grow
forth,
at different times.
etc.
Gotcha.
They do sprout at different times, but more than likely they will still sprout at the same time because that's Murphy's Law, right? But you'll have a variety of flavors. For example, alfalfa sprouts are kind of nondescript flavor-wise. They just have a little light crunch, which makes them delightful.
She's like a sprout connoisseur or something over here.
Radish sprouts have that zesty, peppery note that you would anticipate a radish would have.
I don't think I've ever had them.
A broccoli has kind of that cabbagey broccoli flavor to it, and it is full of vitamins and nutrients. And that's one thing I'm going to quick talk about before we get to our review of this actual sprouter, is that sprouts are baby plants. So they have all the nutrients, all the things that are required to make that plant grow in that little tiny package. So when you eat them, you get all that in you. Yay! Another tip is when the water goes through all your different trays, which I'll show you in a second, and it goes down into your reservoir and you're ready to empty that reservoir, think about what that water has collected on its way down through all those seeds. What is a seed? A seed is basically a little tiny nutrient packet so that a baby plant can sprout. So that water is collecting any residual nutrients and depositing it in the water in the basin. So that's like nutrient enriched water. So don't dump it down your sink, put it on your plants.
Oh, wow. Never thought of that.
So
That's why she's the gardener.
This is a plastic-based product, and as you know, if you're a longtime viewer of Brian's and my City Steading channels, we are not huge fans of plastic. However, this is BPA free, so it's a good plastic.
Relatively.
Can you use a mason jar to sprout sprouts? Absolutely, but it can be slightly more problematic because it may hold the moisture in a little too much, inducing a higher risk of mold.
What's neat about this one is the fact that there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's,
Yep.
4 levels in here. Each one of those is like 6 inches or so across. Maybe that's even 7 inches across. That's a lot of acreage in a very small area.
Yep.
And that's what makes this really cool. And that's part of why we chose this particular one.
So let's take some closer looks at the trays themselves so you can see how this unit works. This is the top tray known as the reservoir lid, and this is where we're going to be adding our water. And because you can see around the very edge, there is small rows of holes that allows the water to slowly drip to the next level. This is a growing tray. All 4 of the growing trays are identical. They have these ridges in the base that help keep the seeds in place, and then the entire bottom is perforated to allow water to drain to the next level. This is the last level, and this is where the water is collected once it's drained through all the other levels. I have no idea why this level is ridged, but hey, it looks fancy
Makes
that way.
Fancy.
So now that you see the mechanics, if you will, of this sprout growing kit, let's get to the placement of seeds. And this is probably one of the most critical aspects of sprouting seeds. And that's because lots of people get overexcited about it and crowd the sprouting tray with too many seeds. That is going to inhibit growth of your sprouts, but it's going to make the growth of mold more problematic. So with our kit, we got some broccoli seeds and some alfalfa seeds. As we stated already, we already used all the alfalfa seeds, so we purchased a new bag of alfalfa seeds, so we'd have 2 types of seeds to start today. So to do this, I'm simply going to open this packet. And to do that, I'm going to get some scissors, because I know if I just try to go, seeds will go everywhere.
This video becomes a whole different thing.
It's not going to be pretty. And I am just going to snip the corner of this packet out, so that way it'll be easier for me to spread these seeds. And now, let's see how we do it. Okay, as you can see, the seeds are just bouncing around in there like a popcorn machine. So I'm trying to spread them out rather evenly because I don't want too many bunched together, but that's pretty much as many seeds as I want to put in this particular tray. So you see there's plenty of room, but there's still a good amount of seeds in there. For my alfalfa sprouts, since I had that huge bag, I just got a teaspoon to help distribute my seeds. As you can see, they're kind of bouncing all over the place. But I'm trying to spread them out so that they're not bunched up together and they're kind of just evenly spaced, but due to their activity, that's difficult to do. But that's roughly all I really want to put in there. And I'm just going to go ahead and continue to fill all my trays until, in this particular situation, I'm going to have the top 2 trays be alfalfa and the bottom 2 be broccoli.
Now, just one thing of note, she's using a teaspoon measure here, and she only used about 1/4 of it on that whole tray. So you're not using a lot of seeds at all. Like the packages that it comes with, you can get many, many tiers of seeds out of that.
So I still have this much left over of the broccoli seeds, even by filling 2 trays. So I'm going to put this in a zip top bag so I don't have seeds everywhere. The kit suggests 1 to 2 teaspoons per tray based on size of seeds. I found that to be a little on the bountiful side, and the more you use this, the more you'll become accustomed to how many seeds you can actually put in based on the different types of seeds that you're using. For example, pea seeds and bean seeds are much larger than alfalfa and broccoli, so those are going to be much fewer per tray.
That's true.
So now we're going to put our reservoir lid back on, and we're taking 2 cups of roughly room temperature water and pouring it in.
Before you freak out thinking that all that water is just going to sit there or just dump right through, those holes are so tiny that it drips through over a period of time.
You can probably see, even from your viewpoint, the little drips that are occurring as it's starting to go down from layer to layer. Now the seeds that we added were dry, and those seeds can expand to roughly 3 times their size once they absorb that water. So that's another reason why you want to give them plenty of space. Also, be patient as the water trickles through, because it could take 45 minutes or longer for it to filter all the way down to your bottom reservoir. Also, don't be concerned if you see little bits of water remaining in each tray. That's perfectly normal, and it's actually designed to do that so that the right amount of moisture is attached to your seeds for sprouting. Also, you may notice a slight color change in the reservoir water once the seeds have sprouted. If it turns slightly brown or green, that's completely normal, because that's the excess nutrients that have shed from the seeds. So you're going to add an additional 2 cups of room temperature water 2 to 3 times a day, and each time you add new water, you want to rotate your trays. So the bottom one will be the top, and then the rest will scoot down, just keep on doing that. And that way everybody has its own position, rotation, and the
They're all
optimal water,
special.
and everybody feels happy and special, yes. And if there's differences in light where you're keeping them, they will get the benefit of the full light or the lesser light, etc. and so forth. The one thing I do want to warn you about is don't forget to empty that bottom tray before adding more water, or you will have a big mess. I may be saying that from experience. So what are we going to do now? We're going to let it sit. We're going to show you day-by-day progression of our seed sprouting. Okay, it's day 12. Let's see how we did. We have sprouts.
Green stuff.
Let's take a closer look. All right, so you can see our ready-to-eat sprouts here. These are the broccoli sprouts. The little brown things you see are the discarded seed shells, and these little fuzzy bits are actually the very fine roots coming off the end of the sprouts.
So what do you do now?
You eat them.
How?
So you just grab them and pull them out, and they come out little
Roots and all?
Roots and all. If you don't want the seed shells, you can give them a gentle rinse to try to dislodge that. But
Can we do that?
it's
I don't want to eat the
you
seeds.
don't have to eat them. I will eat them. It's really not that big of a deal.
All right, I'll eat one.
You eat nuts and seeds, right? It's the same thing. It's just the shell. No big.
I've not eaten a lot of sprouts in my life. I will be honest. I don't mind them in salads and stuff.
Yeah.
That's actually quite nice.
We put them on salads. We put them on sandwiches.
We usually had bought them in the past. I never saw them this way
Sometimes
before.
I just eat them because I actually enjoy them. They have a little bit of crunch.
Well, they're supposed to be, like, the broccoli ones especially, are supposed to be healthier than eating broccoli.
Yep, because they are vitamin packed in a little tiny bundle. Now, there's one thing that we learned, and we shared with you at the beginning of this, one of the things that we learned, because the first time we used this, we planted it all with alfalfa. And we realized having 4 trays of alfalfa was a little much alfalfa. So this time, as we shared with you, we did half and half alfalfa and half broccoli. Broccoli is a more vivacious grower than alfalfa. Alfalfa is kind of wussy. So I don't know. I know that broccoli is a gas giving off plant, and perhaps in its growth, it may have stunted the alfalfa, but the alfalfa didn't turn out quite as good this time with the broccoli. The broccoli obviously is super happy.
It's interesting if the combo of the two together actually caused an issue for the alfalfa.
So if you do a combination of seeds, you're going to want to check each type and perhaps harvest one sooner than the other because they have different growth habits. Other than that, it worked out perfectly, just as normal. And I would say if you want a simple, easy thing just to sit on your countertop to grow sprouts, this is a good option.
Gives you a lot of acreage in a very small space.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of neat.
Yeah. So, if you like this video, look up. There's another one you're going to enjoy as well.